Yeah, well, Bo's a big name, and everybody knows about him. One of the best in the business. Bo brings a lot of energy to our staff. The recruiters love him. Obviously, not only being the defensive coordinator, but also being the linebacker coach, I think it helps that he has a personal relationship with all the linebackers in the family. He's done a tremendous job. Since the day he's walked in there, he's been a force.
Bo Pelini, LSU defensive coordinator. That was Ed Ogeron earlier this week speaking about the hire that he made back in May to bring Coach Pelini back to Baton Rouge. And a lot of people have speculated on why Coach Pelini would come back. Would it be an opportunity to coach guys like Derek Stingley Jr. and Tyler Shelvin? Coach, I tell everybody, you come back to Baton Rouge because of Gino's cooking.
That's part of it, I can tell you that.
Tell people where to find you.
I spent enough time there.
Yeah, I was about to say you can find Coach there every night as Gino was talking about getting you back in Baton Rouge. What are some of the things that have been highlighted since being back down south?
Well, it's just been good to get back here and get settled, and people ask why I came back. I mean, I've had a lot of opportunities to go different places, but I always said this was different. This was a special place to me, and I have a lot of respect for Coach Joe. I have a lot of respect for the kind of the team that's in place here. I love the staff, and we have a chance to win championships, and that's what it's all about. And, I wasn't just going to go for any place, and this is obviously a special place.
Coach, really
probably one of two or three that I would even consider.
When you come back as a coordinator after serving as a head coach, how does the time as a head coach make you a better coordinator and assistant?
Well, I think you understand what the guy in that seat is going through, and you kind of look at things at a more holistic approach, probably. You kind of understand the overall thing and what's trying to get accomplished, and then and I think it gives you a little bit, it gives you some credibility with the players. But I'm actually looking forward to this. The fact that it's 14 years, I think I was a head coach somewhere in that neighborhood,
mm-hmm.
and it's nice to just be able to get back and be able to hone in and coach and not have to worry about some of those things that go with sitting in that seat.
Yeah, you always hear that when you become head coach, suddenly like the coaching on the actual field becomes almost a smaller part of the job requirement. The other thing that I think people always talk about in these type of situations, Coach, is how does a former head coach and a current head coach, how do they coexist? How do those personalities mesh? What has that process been like thus far with you and Coach O?
It's been pretty seamless. I mean, he hired me to do a job. I think he knows, kind of knows what I'm about. I'm not here to be the head coach. I'm here to be and serve the head coach as best I possibly can on a daily basis. And if he ever asks me something, my opinion on something, I'm going to, believe me, I'm the one that's going to give my opinion. That's what I came here to do. I fully understood what I was getting into, and that's why I did it, because we had a good community, we had good talk before I took the job, and he laid out exactly and it was just a good scenario for me.
You have that fiery personality that you alluded to, and Ogeron has the same. And a lot of people, when he made the hire, were asking him if he had concern of those personalities being able to coexist, especially on the defensive side of the ball. He embraces that side. When people ask you that question, how do you react?
I just, it's one of the things that, it's about competing. And, one thing I appreciate about Coach is he wants to win, and he's going to compete. He's going to get his players he's established a culture in a way that we just got to keep building on, because one thing about these kids, they know how to work and they know how to play. They're going to play for Coach O. They're going to run through a wall for him, and that's a skill set. That's a quality that's hard to find in a coach. And that's the kind of coach I want to. That's the kind of program I want to play for.
Yeah,
I want to coach for, I should say.
And coach, you are. I remember back in the practice field, you are no stranger to sharing your opinions to said players either, or the lessons that players need to learn. But like through all of your years of coaching, how do you determine when it's time to get after a guy's ass and get in his face versus like when maybe you got to handle this guy a little bit differently or maybe take a more general approach?
Well, I think that's the key. You can't treat every guy the same. I mean, you have people who say you got to treat everybody the same. Well, no, because different guys need different things, and different guys are going to react better or more favorably to different things. And believe me, I'll get after guys when I need to. You also have to have the ability to reel them back in, put your arm around them, show them, make sure how can you be hard on your players, demanding, hold them to high standards, but still have, at the end of the day, they better understand, trust you have their best interest at heart in everything you're doing. Because if they don't, you're going to lose them. And you can't be hard on guys if they don't trust you. Yeah. And I think that's a skill set and a part of coaching that a lot of people don't talk about.
Bo Pelini, LSU defensive coordinator, joining us.
So spot on. Sorry, Jordy, my bad.
Here on Off the Bench, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria. We spoke to the last commit that LSU got. I know you can't speak about him specifically, but he was talking that you were his lead recruiter. Orgeron speaks of recruiting as the lifeblood of the program, and has brought us into those 5 o'clock power hours in the afternoons and given us an idea what it looks like. Can you tell us about what the recruiting now is for LSU and kind of your responsibility in it and working alongside Orgeron as one of the best recruiters in the country?
Well, Coach O, he's basically a recruiting coordinator, and he does an unbelievable job, and he's passionate about it. He outworks other people, but a big key is also recruiting, and it's evaluating too, and that's a big part of it. He and I think our staff are identify. Don't worry about necessarily star ratings and all the other things that are out there. We find the people that and look for the people that are right for LSU. Talent-wise, character-wise, culture-wise, and go after them. And I think we've done a good job of doing that. We've had good success this year so far, but we still got a long way to go.
And as far as evaluation goes, Coach, I would tell you you're pretty damn good at it. You've coached some of the best, especially you just think about the defensive line, right? Glenn Dorsey and Ndamukong Suh. We had a listener question when we were teasing that you were coming on, and he asked us, #AskBo, do you think in 2020 we'll have a player on the defensive line that can be a Glenn Dorsey type as far as the impact is concerned?
Yeah, I think potentially. I haven't worked with these guys enough yet, but we have a tremendous amount of talent up front, and we're gonna be playing a little bit different than they did a year ago. I mean, we'll do incorporate some of the things they did a year ago, but we're going to be a little more multiple, and so I think that's going to maybe a little more D-line friendly than it was in the past. So I think you're going to see guys that are going to play. You're going to see the defensive linemen hopefully make some more play, have the opportunity to make some more plays.
Yep.
And they played extremely well up front last year, technique-wise, fundamentally. But it always didn't lend to them being able to actually make the plays. I think you're going to see some guys maybe step out that that are going to surprise some people.
Coach, want to get into some personnel questions for you. And I know Jabril Cox is a guy that throughout the offseason has had a ton of buzz around him. In fact, earlier this week, the Bednarik Award watch list came out. You got 3 guys on the side of the ball that are on the watch list, including Derek Stingley Jr., Jacoby Stevens, and Jabril Cox. You have coached against Cox the last 4 years. What do you anticipate how he can help LSU's defense coming up this season?
Well, he's a talented kid, high character, great kid who, he's comes from a winning program, has won championships. I think he's won, 3 state championships since, national championships since he's been in college, and was a big part of that. And understands what it takes to win, is very focused on why he came here and what he wants to get accomplished. And he's a talented young man who I think can get better. I think he's going to get better. And he's a good fit, and he fits into that group well. I like our linebacker group. I think it has a chance to be very good. Not only that they're returning guys, but we got a couple of young freshmen who have showed me that they got a lot of talent as well. So I like that room.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about Josh White and some of those guys coming up. But one of the first things that Orgeron said after you were hired that was refreshing was that you were a new set of eyeballs, that you were kind of somebody new that were looking at the guys that already had been evaluated by the staff. And one of the names that you kept bringing up early on to Coach O and the crew was Micah Baskerville. What do you see for Baskerville here in year 3, a guy that was heavily recruited out of the northern part of the state?
I think he's extremely gifted. He's very, how do I say, he's an extremely instinctive guy. The game comes easy to Micah, and he's able to put things together easily. The game makes sense to him. Heck, he came out the other day. We had one of our first kind of what do you call football school, our individual, and he's light. He was moving around well. I think he's a really good player. I think Devon Clark will be as good as he wants to be. I mean, I think Ray Thornton has kind of moved the middle linebacker full time, and he's starting to pick it up and starting to get a good understanding of what we're asking him to do. So it's a group, and those young guys are going to be a factor as well.
So that's interesting, Coach. So y'all are starting football school in just a few days here, or I guess the next phase of football school where you get on the field. So Ray Thornton's going to be with the middle linebackers when that starts up?
Yeah, he plays middle linebacker. He Ray's a Mike, and he's kind of right now he's behind Damone, and then the Wills are. And our guys are pretty interchangeable the way I coach it, but that's how they line up right now. And then you have Micah and Jabril with the will, and then the young guys kind of filling in behind. And, so it's a good group.
Coach, so what about on the 24th when y'all can actually get out there on the field? I know you're looking forward to it, just to getting more time on task, but what do you have planned? What are the goals immediately when that opens up?
Well, I mean, just to take the things that we've been doing in the Zoom meetings and get a chance to line up and there's just so much to do. They kind of just take things and keep establishing that foundation, build a really, really strong foundation before we get into camp. So when we get together and we start camp, that they have a good foundation. We've put them through, and there's a certain comfort level of our guys. So when we get into start the install again in camp, they've heard it, they've walked through it, and they've kind of been through it, and just keep developing that foundation that we're going to keep building on.
You have the best cornerback in college football in Derek Stingley. How do you like the opposite side of him with some of the names over there like Cardell Flott and Elias Ricks, who's some of the guys that are popping up on the board here early on?
Yeah, Mr. Ward. I mean, we got some players, and some guys got a lot of talent. I like that group. I mean, it's obviously Sting gets a lot of the hype. There's some really talented, good football players around him as well. So it's a good group, and there's going to be great competition, which is going to make everybody better.
I found it interesting when you were asked about Stingley early on when Hester had you on right after you were hired, that you said you see a big room for improvement on him. When you have a guy that is that accomplished so young, how do you challenge him as his coach?
Well, every day, the technique. I mean, and believe me, Coach Raymond is always going to do that. That's just the way he operates. But, he has it. Let me tell you, Sting, as good as he is, he does some things that are that are unique. He very an excellent football player. But he's only scratched the surface of what he's going to be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to keep getting better, and there's just a lot of room for improvement. He was only a freshman, and that's a great thing for the Tiger fans out there.
Coach Bo Pelini, welcome back to Baton Rouge, Coach. Thank you for the time this morning.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
thanks so much, Coach.
There is Coach Pelini checking in. Man, I flubbed the beginning of that interview bad. We'll close that out on one next.
Was that just in the back of your mind?